Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of More to Explore, where Mike and I get to hang out with all of you and talk about everything happening at explore.org, including our newest red panda cam that we're seeing clips of right now. And what a crazy few weeks it has been, starting with Fat Bear Jr., then Fat Bear Week, and then the Otis Fund. And now that the Brown Bear cams will be soon be winding down, that means that the Polar Bear cams will be turning up. And today we're talking about all about the transition from fall to frost. And as well, we have a very exciting update on the brand new explore.org commenting system. The public beta is now open, and so stay tuned to see how you can participate. But first, Mike, how does it feel to have a wildly successful Fat Bear Week in the books?
It feels good. It was a lot of work. So yeah, I'm glad for a little bit of rest. And I'm glad that everybody's joining us for the broadcast today. We're happy to have you here no matter where you are around the world. For those of you who are new to explore.org, welcome to the community. And of course, welcome back to all of our longtime viewers. We're the world's largest live nature cam network with more than 180 live cameras all over the world. We'll be looking for your questions and comments during the broadcast today as well. So drop those in the chats. We'll do our best to look for those and maybe answer a few questions a little bit later on. I focus so much on brown bears during the summer that I don't get the opportunity really to watch many other cameras. But as brown bear season winds down into winter, Brian, I think maybe I'll be tuning into the red panda cams every once in a while. They don't hibernate like brown bears. They're also not related to giant pandas. These are not members of the bear family. Instead, they are the only member of a unique taxonomic family of mammals. So it would be like if bears only had one species in that family. That's what's
Huh.
happening with red pandas. And red pandas are arboreal. They spend most of their time in trees, but like giant pandas, they're mostly vegetarian and they eat a lot of bamboo shoots and leaves. So in this way, the giant pandas and red pandas are an example of a convergent evolution in diet because they're two unrelated types of mammals that have evolved to make a living in a similar way through their diet. And they live in high altitude temperate forests with bamboo understories in the Himalayas and other high mountains, basically from Nepal going further east into China, where they can find similar habitats.
Very cool. And definitely check it out. They're super adorable. But Mike, let's talk about what's happened in the last couple of weeks. If and talking about, of course, the biggest event that we have in each year, which is Fat Bear Week. I want to say congratulations to 128 Grazer, who was our champion this year.
Yeah, in the main event, we were guaranteed a new Fat Bear Week champion because it was Grazer versus Chunk. Neither one of those bears had won Fat Bear Week before. But Grazer prevailed. This is her first Fat Bear Week championship. Her combination, I think, of skill and toughness makes her one of Brooks River's most successful and adaptable bears. And I think maybe that was the reason why so many voters voted for her. She it wasn't a close match for Grazer really in any of her matches. She sort of overrun the competition, much like she does when she's competing for fishing spots and defending her cubs at Brooks Falls.
As you can say, everyone got Grazered. And then following up from Fat Bear Week, Mike, we have the big celebration and the Otis Fund. So how much money was raised this year for the Katmai Conservancy?
This was the Katmai Conservancy's most successful Otis Fund fundraiser to date. And the fundraiser coincided this year with Fat Bear Week. It raised almost $310,000 through donations, which Explore.org generously offered to match. So that's an incredible amount of money for Katmai National Park, which has a very small staff and has been chronically underfunded by Congress over, well, probably forever. But yeah, so this money will be put to good use, maybe funding rangers' salaries, helping to fund research that's necessary in the park and other things. We also hosted a Fat Bear celebration live chat last Saturday to talk about the Otis Fund, highlights of the summer, highlights of Bear Cam season, and uh, and of course talk about some of the projects that the Katmai Conservancy funded this year. I also gave during that event Bear 469 a Lifetime Achievement Award for his history during the early years of bear cams, because some of the things that he did and we saw with him in the early years of bear cams were sort of very formative to my bear cam experience. It taught me a lot about how to interpret the world of bears to the public. So he helped with that process, and I think I'm a better interpreter because of those events. And then also he's a resilient bear, and also he's a long-lived bear. He's probably older than Otis, and we don't see
Wow.
him very much on the cameras, but he's one of the oldest bears that we know of at Brooks River. He's certainly in his late 20s.
All right, Mike. And talking about Fat Bear Week, and always the growth is just bigger and bigger every single year. So, how many people participated in 2023?
This was the biggest ever, with almost 1.3 million votes during Fat Bear Week. And that doesn't
Wow.
include our sort of warm up event to Fat Bear Week, Fat Bear Junior, which had something like 85,000 votes or so. And to compare that with 2022, we had just about a million votes in 2022 during Fat Bear Week. And then the very first Fat Bear event in 2014 had a total of 1,600 votes or something like that. So it has grown enormously in the last 9 or 10 years.
That's incredible. And just seeing that final matchup, the total votes between Grazer and Chunk was just a blowout, 108,000 to 23,000 in just the final match. It's crazy. Now that we're well over a million votes this year, I'm excited to see how many votes we get next year. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I think I was hoping just for a million votes this year, Brian, to match what we had last year. So, but it keeps on going. I don't know when we're going to plateau.
and hopefully it doesn't. But now that Fat Bear Week is over, what does that look like, or what are the bear cams going to look like heading into the winter? Because they're still on, they're still bears. So what can we expect the next coming weeks?
We can expect to see fewer bears at Brooks River over the next several weeks, especially going into as we get closer to November, because the peak of the salmon spawning season at Brooks River is done. So there are going to be just fewer and fewer fish available for bears, like we're looking at here, 89 backpack, large adult male at the river. And most bears in Katmai begin hibernating in November. There's quite a lot of variation, though. Some might begin hibernation even at the end of this month, so at the end of October. In general, pregnant females and females with cubs enter the den earlier than single females, while adult males usually enter the den last. In Katmai, there will be bears active in December. Those are almost certainly going to be adult males, but even before then, there's going to be adult males going into the den, and there are always some males that begin hibernation before all female bears are in the den. So it does really vary on the individual bear, but in general, we can say, yeah, November is when they're going to start sleeping for the winter.
And it seems like it kind of coincides with just the weather about it. But how long do you think the cameras will run for this year?
Yeah, actually, we did get a couple of audience questions about that already. Somebody was wondering, is there any hope for like the Cat's Riverview camera? Someone else is wondering what bear cameras are still live and when will those shut down? So in general, we want to keep the cameras on as long as possible. There are separate power systems that rely on solar energy to bring us cams at this time of the year. The cams at the falls and riffles, they're on one system, and then Cat's Riverview is on another. Dumpling Mountain is on a third. So as long as there are no hiccups in the electronics and the solar panels are exposed to enough sunlight to charge the batteries, then we should have some limited viewing hours each day. I know the Cat's Riverview camera has been offline for a while. I haven't checked in with the technicians to see just exactly what is going on with them. Um, but I hope we do get that view, because the activity in the lower river at this time of the year, where the Cat's Riverview camera focuses, that in general is the activity there is greater with bears than what we see up at Brooks Falls. Depends on the weather too. Like if we get snow that and ice that covers the solar panels, there's no one at Brooks Camp to clean them off and to maintain their exposure to sunlight at this time of the year. And there's just limited sunlight overall at Brooks River in the middle of October. The sun, the part of Alaska, is just really low on the horizon. And coming up towards like the winter solstice, I mean, there's only going to be like 6 hours between sunrise and sunset. So
Wow.
not a whole lot of solar energy to provide uh, power to the cameras itself. But we hope to keep them up and running as long as possible. So, yeah, so I think there is hope. We don't, want to really shut them down, but there's a possibility that that maybe the weather won't cooperate. And but yeah, enjoy it while we can. I think that's what the the short of it is.
Yeah, I think I'll be watching it as long as we can. I'm hoping that we can keep them running as long as possible. But of course, the Alaskan winters, as soon as the snow comes, that's kind of it for solar power. And then as far as when the brown bears cam's winding down, it's one of also the beginning of one of my favorite seasons of the year, which is polar bear cams. They're just about to start coming online. So our partners at Polar Bear International host multiple cams up in Churchill, Manitoba. I seem to have misplaced my map. There we go.
And this is yeah, we're gonna do a brown bear polar bear crossover live chat later this week. We'll have details on that later in the broadcast. But it's really cool for me, Brian, and you've been to Churchill. That essentially is an Arctic environment, but it's the same latitude as Katmai. So it's just
Really?
really different habitats, even though they're on the same, basically the same distance from the North Pole. It's just a matter of like one is in the center of the continent, much colder in winter, and then Katmai is closer to the ocean, so it's a bit more temperate in its it in its climate.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And so we get Polar Bears International hosts multiple cams as well as live chats. And as you can see, we get some amazing footage like these highlights right here. And Mike, what is it that brings polar bears to this area?
The polar bears come to shore of Western Hudson Bay every summer as sea ice melts in the bay. So without sea ice, polar bears don't have a hunting platform to capture seals, which are their preferred prey. So essentially, they come to land um, and just wait for summer to end, for fall to arrive, for cold weather to arrive once again, so they can go back out onto the ice and begin hunting for another winter. So summer and fall for them, in contrast to brown bears, summer and fall are a season of starvation for polar bears in Hudson Bay. Um, but that offers us the opportunity to watch them as they wait for the return of sea ice. And they're related to brown bears in a lot of different ways, but they're also very different than brown bears. So for me, it's always a really interesting and fun to see just how different and similar these bears are. And Brian, we'll have many different perspectives to watch the polar bears from.
Definitely. And I love telling the story just from the technical side because it's truly amazing. They have these giant buggies, which is like almost like a big monster truck. And you see from the photo here is the famous buggy one where they have the antenna up that's sending the signal out. And if you see the top corner, you have the actual webcam. So this buggy goes out and drives out on the tundra to go polar bear watching. And then we have a few other cams. Here's the kind of the tundra road that buggy drives on, and after it drives like a couple of hours, it actually comes to the buggy lodge. We can see it's almost like a train of these buggies, and then we have two cameras on facing either side of the lodge, so all kinds of different perspectives, getting the best views of polar bears. And if you're seeing any of the Tundra Connections live chats, you can see a lot of them are hosted directly in Buggy One itself. So they've converted it into a mobile television studio, which is pretty amazing. And on top of that, not even just polar bears, but in Churchill, we also have a Northern Lights camera.
Yeah, evidently that's been active as well. This Brian, you told me this clip is from October 12, right?
Yep. And this is real time too. This
Yeah,
is not a time lapse. So it was a pretty amazing display.
yeah, just incredible. So yeah, if there's a clear day clear evening in Churchill, it's worth tuning into the Northern Lights camera, especially if you're a night owl in North America, but maybe if you're in a different part of the world. It's the middle of the day for you, and you can enjoy this, on a second monitor or something like that. You can put it on your television during the day. Really incredible footage.
And moving on, like I mentioned before, we have a great announcement for the brand new Explore.org chat system. The open beta is live right now on two different pages that we're testing it out. One is Dumpling Mountain, and the second one is the Kitten Rescue Sanctuary page. So, um, so of course, we wanted to build this system to create a better community experience, and today we invite you to try it for yourself. Um, and then we also have a special video from our director of new media, Candace Rush, to give us a better look at this system.
Hi, my name is Candace Rush. I am the Director of New Media here with Explore.org, and I join you today with some very exciting news about the new comment system that we have been working on all year. We are going to begin testing this system on the Kitten Rescue and Dumpling Mountain chat boards. So if you have some time this week, over the next couple weeks, please pop in there, use the system, let us know what you like, what you don't like. This is, of course, as always, a work in progress, and we can't help make it better without your feedback. So to begin, the most important thing is that you have an Explore.org account and not a Discuss account. And the easiest way to figure this out is to look at where you're logging into the site. So if you're logging into the site up here in the top corner, you're logging in with an Explore.org account. If you're logging in down here in the comments, where it says log in here, log in with Discuss, that's a Discuss account. If you've been logging in with the Discuss account down here, you're going to need to click this join button up top, fill out the forms, then you'll have an Explore.org account. I know several of you have both a Discuss account and an Explore account, so my recommendation when testing the new comment system on the new chat boards is to log out of everything and then only log in with your Explore account up here so that there's not going to be any conflict of accounts. Now, on the new system, we have some very exciting new features. The first of which I want to highlight is this little off-topic button here. So if I type, this is off topic, I'm talking about my dog. I love my dogs. Click it, send to comments. You'll see a little squirrel here. This is our little off-topic squirrel. Now, if you're the kind of person that doesn't want to hear about my dogs, you can go ahead and go to the filter. I'll click that again right here, the filters. Click it. We've got a lot of filters. But you can hide all off-topic comments. You only want to learn about the Eagles or the Bears or whatever camera you're on. And that will hide the off-topic comments. Now, I see my comments right here. Regardless of what the filter is, you're always going to see your own comments. But otherwise, none of the other off-topic comments are showing. Now, if I only want to see off-topic comments, I want to chat with my friends. I know it's all hidden behind the off-topic filter. We're going to rehash our day. You can show only off-topic comments. Look at that. These are only the off-topic comments from this board. This off-topic posting is only going to be permitted on cameras where the new Explore chat board is. So until we've migrated all of our chat boards, please continue to use the off-topic board that's been dedicated, unless you're on one of these boards with the new Explore comment system. Some other very exciting filters we've got here. I'll reset them for you. We've got our hashtag filter. This one is going to take some community engagement to be useful. You're going to have to start to use, you don't have to, you can do whatever you want. If you use a hashtag in your post, it can help other people find that post later on. One of the big pieces of feedback we got was that it was really hard to find posts and filter posts. So if you're wondering if Otis has come back, instead of posting it and waiting for someone to reply to you, you can just search hashtag Otis right here, apply filters, and then all of the posts with Otis will appear right here. Another interesting filter we got as well is mod post only. Sometimes the mods are posting really helpful information, but it's not the pinned comments and it gets buried in the basement. So you do that, and only posts by mods are going to appear. Another piece of feedback we got was date pickers, right? So you know that somebody posted something on Monday. Ain't no way you're going to scroll back till Monday. I'm guessing nobody posted on this board on Monday. This is our test board, so it's a little less active. Maybe let's just go today. These are all of the posts from today, Friday, October 13th. Some other important pieces of information about the chat board that we've got. We now let people react. So we've got all of these reactions, more than just a like. We've got laugh, hug, shock, sad, angry. If you don't think that a comment's appropriate, you can report the user, you can hide the comment, you can block the user. Yes, and then we'll get to that in a second. Some other important things, just like in discussed, you can hide media if you don't want to see all the snapshots. You can show media. You could also hide a specific comment if you don't want to, if it's taking up too much room, you don't like that, you can hide that comment. You can show that comment. Up here is where your notifications are going to live. Notifications. And so this is where you'll be able to see it. Currently, we're working on an update that will let you preview the comment here in your notification screen, as opposed to having to open up the comment itself. Open up the link, and then the link will take you. You do got to scroll all the way down to the comments here. The other very important thing is you can now unblock users. I had blocked Lori previously. I'm now going to unblock her. Successfully unblocked. Revolutionary, I know. Another big piece of feedback we got is that snapshots don't always post. This is frustrating for us and you. The reason this was happening is that Discuss would occasionally mark Explore traffic as spam. We're obviously not going to be marking our own traffic as spam. So now, if you send to comments, it should reliably appear in the comments. Tagging should also work. So at let's who Evil Mike Fitz is his testing account. So he'll show up there, and when you're tagged, again, that's going to show up in your notifications. Some other issues that have been going on with Discuss are that it's randomly banning people. That is not something we expect to happen in the new comment system. This system is a work in progress, and we can only make it work for our community with your guys' input. So please head over to Dumpling Mountain, Kitten Rescue, use the system, give us your feedback. Another really important part of collecting your feedback on this new comment system is going to be this error feedback form that we'll have pinned to the top of the page where the new comment system is. If you've got a problem, we're going to ask you to go through this form, send it to us so we can review any issues. Thank you to everybody who has submitted your feedback along the way. Let us know what you want. We're going to continue to rely on your input to make this new chat board something that works for all of us and something that's going to make our community better.
Awesome. How exciting is that? We're getting our own chat system, and I'm already seeing comments that people are excited for the filters feature. I think it's going to be so great. You can customize your feed to see exactly the kind of content you want to see. And if you're feeling like you want to change it up, you can do it with a click of a button. So as mentioned, this is an open beta. Some features are going to be rolling out. Maybe you'll see a bug or two. There are directions to show how to report it on the pages. So please head over to those pages, the Dumpling Mountain and Kitten Rescue Sanctuary, to try out the comment system. And I did like a comment, Be Cool Like Otis on YouTube says that they're excited to see polar bear cams for the very first time. I'm excited for you. It's a really cool place to be. And Mike, we did get a couple of audience questions if you want to take a look at those. First one, we have, will Grazer have cubs in 2024, do you think?
It's a distinct possibility. Sometimes even, the fattest mother bears, though, or is it female bears, excuse me, if they're single one summer, they get super fat. Sometimes they don't come back with cubs for various reasons. We don't know. Maybe they didn't conceive. Maybe, the cubs died en route to Brooks River or something like that. So we don't really know for sure. But Grazer, went into the den with certainly enough body fat to support a new litter. From some captive studies, I think, that have been done on brown bears, it seems like the minimum threshold for like body fat that a mother bear needs to carry her pregnancy to term is about 20%. And at Brooks River, if you're a single female, it's pretty easy to get to that 20% body fat threshold. But there's a lot of variables also that affect it. We've seen bears like Holly, for instance, go several years between litters. Could it happen with Grazer? Certainly. But if Grazer has cubs in 2024, I think it's definitely going to change the dynamic at Brooks Falls, because she has been particularly dominant for a mother bear. Uh, will she mellow out? I don't know. I mean, sometimes mother bears do that as they gain experience raising offspring, but Grazer hasn't shown that tendency yet. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Nice. And then another comment asking about the polar bear dragging. I believe it's talking about this clip right here.
Yeah, that polar bears do that not because they're itchy necessarily, although maybe that could be a reason for it sometimes, because they don't have, out on the sea ice, they don't have like trees or something to rub on. But when they rub in the snow, usually that means they're too hot. Their fur insulates them very well. They're large-bodied animals. They're moving around a lot. They generate a lot of body heat. So spreading themselves out, rubbing themselves on snow is a way for them to cool off. It's just more surface area against against the cold ground.
Very cool. And we have a couple more camps that we want to highlight. But first, coming up this week, we do have a number of live events starting tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we have the Africam show, which is like a virtual live safari. And then on Wednesday, we have a play-by-play hosted by, of course, Mike Fitz. And then Thursday, we have two events. We have the Wild Moment show, which is all the best highlights from the Africam cameras. And then, Mike, you're hosting with Polar Bears International, a Polar Bears and Brown Bears live chat.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I look forward to this live chat every year. We're going to compare and contrast the lifestyles of and adaptations of polar bears and brown bears. Again, they're very closely related species, but they live very different lives in many ways. So I'm going to be talking with Elisa McCall from Polar Bears International about that.
Very cool. And just highlighting some other cams in case you were only watching the bear cams, here's maybe some other cool pics that you can see, including the Utopia Village cameras. We have multiple cameras and you see all kinds of crazy marine life. And so this one was super interesting. A yawning lemon shark I've never seen before. And then also, in addition, just some camera updates. The Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach, California, the Penguin Beach Cam is back online. You can see all cute penguins and some other camera updates. The condors are back, including a new condor roost cam. And also coming up pretty soon is the Decorah Eagles cameras will be coming back online, where soon as we get into the frosty weather, we'll see our favorite eagle pairs start building their nest. And Mike, do you have any cameras that you're looking forward to watching this week?
Well, with bear camp season winding down, if Cat's Riverview comes back online, I'm definitely going to be watching that, as well as the Falls Cam, just because we can expect to have fewer viewing hours going forward because of limited daylight in that part of the world. So yeah, I'm still going to be looking at the brown bear cams, although I've been tuning into the Africa cams and things like that a lot in the mornings when I sit down for work.
Nice. I think the cam I've been coming back to again and again is the Grace Gorillas cam. For me, I'm on very early in the morning for West Coast time, but it would be much easier for anybody a little more east to check out this camera and just seeing just their learning about their incredible story and just watching them just munch on food.
Yeah, I've been watching them too. It's been good. That's one of the when I when I have like the main page for all of our cameras in Africa up, if one of the thumbnails below the camera screen is the gorillas, and if I see a gorilla there, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's where I'm going right now. So it's always really fun to watch them.
I know, I love it. I highly recommend it. And to follow us on any of your favorite social media platforms where you can find all of the greatest clips, especially our Instagram and our TikToks. Definitely recommend following us, whatever platform of choice. And Mike, how can people get more involved with explore.org?
We have volunteer opportunities still available, and thanks to all of our volunteers who help us to either moderate the comments on YouTube and on explore.org itself, and then also the camera operators who work behind the scenes to give us remarkable views of the animals and scenery that we enjoy. So if you're interested, go to explore.org/volunteer. You can fill out this form and we'll get back to you with more information.
Awesome. And thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I know we're going a little over, but that is all the time that we have for this show. Definitely go check out the Red Panda Cam. And thank you everyone for joining us today. And of course, I want to give a special thank you to all of our moderators and camera operators, and of course, Mike Fitz. And we'll see you again next time on More to Explore. And until then, happy exploring.